And of course, yeah, I couldn't finish without mentioning, as I just said, the 30-15. In this case, that would be exactly the same, but you've seen that in the previous courses. All right. So as a conclusion for those 5 chapters, first chapter we discussed about the definition, and I kind of explained you how I became so in love with the concept of the anaerobic speed reserve and the different ways to measure maximum aerobic speed, either with an incremental test or those 5 minutes or 1-2K time trial that works well. Maximal sprinting speed, remember you have to sprint long, so at least 30-40 meters. Whether you use electronic cells or you use a GPS, it's important to get the length of the speed so that you're sure you're really hitting max speed. We talked about the tolerance. That's really back to the first studies from Blondel, showing clearly that the lower the proportion of the reserve those guys were using, the higher their time to exhaustion at a given percentage of their maximal aerobic speed, really showing the importance of the reserve, and the less you use, the more you last. That's pretty cool. Profiling, I think we discussed a lot about those different profiles, endurance, hybrid, and the speed, and how you profile players using the ratio between maximal sprinting speed and maximal aerobic speed. But I really hope that I made the point that the ratio is one thing for the profiling and putting them into buckets. But then when it comes to actual performance and tolerance, the absolute values are always more important. On the macro level, we discussed about how those profiles cope better than the others for some given heat types, or heat format and sequences. And for most of the endurance type of profile, we better give them the pills in terms of short intervals, while for the speed guys, they will be better suited to sprint interval training or more repeated sprint with short sprint and short recovery. The loading tolerance is also very important, with, again, the endurance type likely to be able to cope and tolerate way more loads, hours, volumes than the speed guys. So in this case, think twice about the loading of your team, think twice about the individual loading, think twice about double session a day, duration between the session, and so on, especially once you understand the profile of your players. And finally, the actual programming, that's back to the basics and all the stuff discussed earlier about the use of the 30-15. In this case, it's roughly the same, but instead of using 30-15, you just use a percentage of the reserve to make sure you can offer and prescribe individualized distance for each of the player, even though they might be in the same bucket. But most important, standardize the demands so that the responses become as homogeneous as possible, and that's the end that you want in the end. And I think we're done with this. So thanks for listening. I hope you got something from that. And as always, we'll be around if there's any burning question. But again, thanks for joining the course, and I hope you're gonna be able to apply some of this stuff. Thank you. Take care.